And that little grit between its shell and it exudes a certain fluid which covers that grit, whatever it is, which then metastasizes and becomes a pearl. Now, if this animal an oyster didn't feel any pain, and at the second they felt pain, we gave it a joint or Valium or cannabis, this would never happen. It would never happen. There is nobody in this room. If I had to ask you, who would you most like to meet in this world? There's nobody, I believe, that in this room that would want to meet a person that hasn't overcome some sort of adversity. In my personal opinion, the greatest commencement speech ever given happened to be at my alma mater, but it makes this point beautifully. Here's how the commencement speaker gave the speech. The commencement speech at Harvard University in 2008 ascended up the podium, and basically I'm going to paraphrase what the commencement speaker said. The commencement speaker said, I completely ruined my life. I had been left with nothing. I had a marriage that was ruined. I was as poor as you possibly can be, but I had a dream, I had a daughter that I loved, and I had a typewriter. That's how J.K. Rowling started her speech at Harvard University. And she penned a book which you might have heard of called Harry Potter. Her journey against adversity is the quintessential message of transcending. If you look at the message, the pedagogical message that we learn in the Talmud, to understand that pain is not bad, that you can look at that objective concept called pain either as a stumbling block or as a stepping stone. I hope and pray there's nobody in this room. I hope and pray, and I'll show you what I mean, that there's nobody in this room whose life is a cakewalk. I hope and pray that there's nobody in this room that doesn't have any worries in the world. I hope and pray that there's nobody in this room that doesn't have a peckle, that doesn't have someone in their family who's got a problem, or a relationship that didn't work out, or some financial one. I hope and pray that that's the case. Why? One of the greatest Jewish writers and scholars of the Middle Ages was the Rambam, Maimonides. So in one of his famous books, Michtav Eliyahu, he breaks down the 4 levels of pain, or the 4 levels of suffering. It's obviously incredible wisdom that has stood the test of time. The most benign level is financial. That's why, by the way, when you go to a Jewish wedding, they will ask the Eidim, the witnesses at the chuppah, is that a pruta? It's not so much the value as the fact that it's round. The concept is money comes and goes. There's a very deep concept in the Talmud that money never lasts more than 3 generations, but it's up to God at the end of the day, who gets and who doesn't get. Not having money to pay the bills is pretty scary, but not having money to buy the latest, hybrid that is the most benign level of pain. The next level up is, God forbid, health. Now, I speak to a lot of different people. It's obviously overwhelming and scary to have any health issues. That's real. That's very, very real. And it's the spacesuit that keeps our soul. So it's something that kind of a deleterious impact on a person's life. The third level, the penultimate level of pain and suffering, is vicarious pain. It's the pain that a parent feels for a child. You feel that, you literally can feel the pain. If your child, please God, one day is going through something, the parent feels it. What's the highest level of suffering, the highest level of pain, according to Rambam? No pain at all. It's indifference. How do we know that that's true from a Torah perspective and from a secular perspective? From a secular perspective, Yale University did an experiment with 2 twins. One group was the subject group. The experimenter said, whatever you want to do, completely laissez-faire parenting. You want to go out until 4 a.m. and smoke acid and snort coke? Terrific. You want to have sex 15 times a day with your pet hamster? That's also fine. You want to have whatever you want? It's fine. That's group A. And then the group B had curfew. They had a certain dress code. They had discipline. They had parameters. 30 years later, they tracked these 2 groups. Which of these two groups do you think became juvenile delinquents? Right, the one that had absolutely no parameters, no boundaries. We need to feel cared for. We need to feel there's somebody that, the idea of being an indifferent parent, whatever you want to do, that's the worst possible emotion that you can impart to another human being. I don't have time anymore, but I spent about 5 years in Atsala. One of the first things they teach in Atsala is when there's an accident, is you go up to a person. This is the first thing they do for 2 reasons. You go like this. Why? Actually, you're clinically dead, you know. Take a pulse, but also the fact that you can feel a human being touching you, it's soothing. The fact that there's somebody there, and the opposite of indifference, which is one of the scariest things that and this is a topic for another time. Unfortunately, one of the scariest things that we have in this generation is the proliferation of technology and social media, and what that's done to people in terms of loneliness, what that's done to people in terms of interaction.